Hi guys, Hounds Armory here, and today I'm back in my full loadout. So let's talk about some second line gear and see how we get to the full setup. Alright, so today I'm back in my full loadout, and we're talking about my second line gear. So before I go into specifics about mine, let me answer the question, what is second line gear? To me, it's the gear and the equipment that makes you more effective or enhances your play experience. Now, of course, for me, play experience and effectiveness go hand in hand because that's the kind of play I like to pursue. But for you, if you want to, I don't know, run all melee weapons and a vest that carries a bunch of little throwing daggers in it, that's your second line gear. So don't look at my loadout, or, I mean, of course you can for inspiration, but don't think that what I use is the end-all be-all for what this gear category is. So things that will make you more effective are carrying more ammunition, making it easier to do things like drink water while keeping playing, things that will let you carry more ammo types, things that make you more comfortable and maybe redistribute some of the weights across maybe your chest and your back if you don't want it all on your hips. So in general, just think about what's necessary and then what helps. And the things that go in that what helps category are typically your second line gear options. So that being said, let's talk about what mine is. And to help out, I grabbed my Strifle Mark II. If you want to know more about this guy, I'll put a link in the card above. This is my current primary who has yet to be play tested and has definitely yet to earn a name. She was completed during this COVID-19 lockdown and will hopefully serve well. But that being said, I have tailored my current loadout around this blaster, so I might be picking it up and just sharing some details around that. And actually, let's start with that. Of course, I'm wearing my plate carrier, my vest, and you can see that right here along my right side, there is not much. And that's because I usually carry this slung, and it sits right about there. And I like being rather compact, and not having anything on my vest there lets my blaster have somewhere close to sit. And that's especially important since I'm running this battery box designed by Tungsten, which is really awesome, and I do like, and even aesthetically and balance-wise, I do like, but it is big and bulky and hanging off the side. So I'm just finding that having that more open just lends itself to that more. Okay, let's just start around front, and then we'll move around back, and we'll see what we see. So, of course, up front, I've got 4 of my 18-round stick magazines right here on my chest, a little offset to my left. That's because most of the time I'm going to be reloading, it's going to be from my left with my left hand. So that's why I have offset my magazines, which are currently backwards. That's fine. On my left, because it's a little more accessible there, and it means my hands has to move less distance to reload. Let's actually make a point about that. My magazines are in backwards, which, if you can see, means the darts are pointing to my left, which, if I pull one out and go to reload, is backwards. But I guess with these will still feed. That's interesting. So usually, I carry my magazines with the darts pointing to the right. That way, I just have to pull a magazine, and that's how it goes in the blaster. That is also the kind of thing you're going to want to think about when putting together your second line gear, because that is a tiny detail that speeds up my reloads and makes it be one less thing I have to worry about instantly. Going further up, I've got this admin pouch, which in this slot over here, I usually have a spare battery for my primary if I'm running flywheels. For this blaster, it will usually be a 2S LiPo, though it can run on 3S. I haven't gotten to test it yet, and it was built for HVZ, so I'm probably going to stick to that 2S LiPo. Also up here, I've got a bit of Velcro for patches, which right now I've got my Hound's Armory logo patch up there just for a little maybe logo recognition for people at games. I don't know. That'd be cool. I don't think I'm big enough for that yet. Anyway, behind it I have a little notebook and a pen. And this is something I think a lot of people don't think about, and it really only pertains to HVZs and maybe some LARPs. And that's something to take notes with because, I'm sorry, missions are confusing, and they're kind of good that way because you don't want something that's just, okay, walk here, pick up the thing, walk there, stand there for 10 minutes, and then you're done. That's boring. If you throw a riddle in there so you figure out what you have to pick up, or if you throw in riddles to figure out where you have to go at either end or whatever, and that's just a basic MacGuffin pickup mission. There's so many kinds of missions in HVZs and LARPs that I think something to take notes with is super helpful. This is something I took to End War 2019 and then didn't use, but it's something I want to use more, especially if I go and play smaller HVZs. I want to start one at my school, but that might be complicated at the moment. But because I like to play tactically, and so I like to know what's going on, and having my own notes is a great place to start. Oh, the other reason I didn't use this at End War is because all the missions were given out on handouts, and so I just ended up taking a picture with my phone and just taking the information from that, and that was because they ran multiple missions at once and it was just quicker. But I noticed for the later missions, when it was just one big group briefing, something to take notes on would have been really nice. So I've got that, and then behind that I've got this little Band-Aid box. This has Band-Aids and I think alcohol wipe or two. And it's just for basic scratches and scrapes, and you fall down on pavement or concrete and scratch up your knee, or you walk through a thorn bush and get a scrape on your arm. I just have it so I can take care of those quick scrapes for myself and the people around me who would want that help, just because it helps people get back in the game, it helps me get back in the game sooner, and we don't have to worry about things like that so much. And of course, in such an active hobby like ours, we can't avoid injury. It's gonna happen, sadly. So if I'm just a little prepared to take care of myself, that just at least eases my mind a little bit. So I've got that up on my vest. Now, moving around back, we have 2 more magazines over here, which I'm not going to talk a whole lot about right now, but basically my idea behind that is it balances the weight of my vest out more, and I have never needed 6 extra magazines in one encounter. I always have a few minutes to rearrange my magazines, and so I threw a couple back there just to balance things out and to open my front up a little bit. So I've got 2 more mags back there. I also have my Camelback, which is currently my only way of carrying water on my loadout, and I don't like that. I mentioned this in my first line gear video, which if you haven't seen, of course, please go watch that. I really want a cup holder or something that'll let me carry a water bottle on my first line gear, my belt setup, but I don't right now. I'm trying to figure it out. So if anyone has any suggestions about that, please let me know in the comments. I gotta figure that one out. And I want that because water is a necessity. Water is more necessary than a blaster because you're running around, usually outside, and sweating, which means you're losing water, which means you need to replace the water. Rant over. I need a cup holder, but I have a Camelback. Of course, my Camelback's hose is just tucked away right now, but it usually runs down my left shoulder and hangs down here. I've got a couple clips, and that is so when I have my blaster shouldered, I can still pull my hose up and take a sip. Just a little detail that I like. Again, it's one of those things you're just gonna have to figure out yourself and figure out what's comfortable and where you like it. That's what I find works best for me. English. Lastly, on my vest, I have a holster with 1 more pistol. Right now I have a Sweet Revenge, and I have no clue what's actually going to live back there or if it's even going to stay. This is one of the additions to my loadout I've done since this quarantine and since games stopped, so I haven't gotten to test it yet. But if you want to know more details about that, go watch my first loadout video on my full loadout. And I get into a little more detail about why I put a holster on my back. So that's my second line gear, and I think that's where I'm gonna end the rant for today. However, I need some help from you, my viewers, and this is simply because I don't know where to go next. This is kind of the last installment in this building a Nerf loadout series that I had planned, and I'm not sure where to go next. So please, if you have any suggestions of videos you think would be helpful to see, things you want me to elaborate on that I've touched on in my other videos, or completely new topics that pertain to Nerf loadouts, please let me know in the comments. I really want to continue doing these videos because it's the part of the hobby I really like. I like figuring out the relationship between equipment and my body, excuse me, and what's gonna make me have more fun and be more effective. So I really want to keep making these videos. I've had a request to go over reloads, so I'm planning on doing that video, but I'm not really sure what else to do. So please let me know in the comments. And that being said, thank you so much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Like I said, I really enjoy making content for you guys, and every new subscriber I get is one more bit of encouragement I have to make another video. So, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.